Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Interior Auto Mechanic. Today I'm going to show you how to replace your blend door actuator on your 2003 through 2008 Toyota Matrix or Pontiac Vibe. This repair is going to basically fix the clicking noise that you will have when you hit your recirculating air button inside of your car. So you'll probably hear like a clicking noise from behind the dash, and then as soon as you push the button again, it stops. What is happening is, and I'll explain how we got to this point here in a second, but this little flap inside of here is trying to move forward, and the motor or the actuator itself goes bad and doesn't allow it to go all the way forward, and that's what makes it click. So you're probably looking at this and thinking this is way too much work to have to do to fix it. I promise you, if you have a basic tool set, just some basic knowledge on how to turn a wrench, a screwdriver, and just a little bit of time, this really is not that big of a job. It looks way worse than what it is. I've got mine pulled apart so I can show you where all of the screws are, and then also show you the easiest way to get to this. Now, there is another video online that says you can simply just remove the radio and the glove box and work your way up from below. But the issue with that is, or at least for me, my hands are kind of big and they don't fit in these tiny spots like I need them to. I could get to this lower screw with my ratcheting wrench, but I couldn't get to the upper one easily. And instead of fighting it for, an hour and a half, I just decided to bite the bullet and take the upper part of this dash off. It's actually a really well designed piece by Toyota and Pontiac together, to where the upper part of the dash comes off to where you can access pretty much everything inside of the dash without having to remove the entire dash. So jumping into this, like I said, just take your time. It's not a big job. It's just a little bit time consuming. It took me probably 15 minutes to get this all pulled apart. To the average person that doesn't do this every day or work on stuff, it could take you up to 45 minutes to get it pulled apart, just by taking your time. So first and foremost, the easiest part to remove is your radio bezel. All you're going to want to do, now ignore that the dash isn't behind here, just act like it is. All you need to do is get your fingers right behind the top here, pull out, work your way around on both sides. It's just held in by a few clips all the way around, and you will have, depending on your year, you'll have a plug here, one here, one here, and one here, and then also this little cable piece over here as well. Now to undo those, so just so you see, those are you'll have your defrost plugs, your hazard, your AC, your recirculate, and you may have one other button down here, or the other option is you may have a clock up here as well. You just unplug that, and to undo these plugs, it's really simple, and I'll show you these real quick, and the rest of them are going to be pretty much the same way for the rest of this job. You just push down on this little tab and you pull out. Again, they're all pretty much the same. Push down and pull out. And if any of these give you trouble, you can always push down, push in a little bit, and then try to pull out. Sometimes they do get stuck just due to their age. This cable basically just will pull out of the one little section right here, and it doesn't really, I don't know exactly what this does. I haven't really quite figured that out, but needless to say, don't worry about that. For your pillar pieces, these need to come out because they help hold the dash in on both sides. The easiest way to do that is if you come right to your door, if you exit the vehicle, grab a hold of this weather stripping and pull down on it. You don't need to take it all the way off, just like that. You can get your fingers up right behind the pillar panel piece and just push towards the inside of the car, and they will pop out. You've got these clips on the inside that just basically will pop out, and so this one would go over here, and when you pop it out, then it just slides up and you can lay that aside. It's going to be the same on both sides. The other thing that you can go ahead and remove is your speedometer bezel. This simply just pulls out. If you grab it like right here and just kind of yank on it gently, obviously don't just try to break it or anything, but it's got a couple tabs or clips that hold it in. You can pull it kind of on the left and then maybe pull it on the right, and then it should just pop right out. You can lay that aside then. Then after that, you can focus on this right here. This will be right next to your driver or your steering wheel. And again, you can just open this vent up and gently pull on this and it will pop out, just held in by some clips. You will have two plugs, or at least on mine you have two plugs that you'll have to undo. Again, push on the tab and pull out. Lay that aside. Next, we can go ahead and do our glove box, which is very simple. You will basically have it to where it'll drop down like this. You can pull up on this side, pull up on this side, and it should drop down. Now you may have this little air strut piece that will connect right there, and all it does is pop right off. You can lay that aside. Like I said, this job is not super hard. It's just taking your time with it. After that, we can go ahead and remove the radio. You will need a 10 millimeter you'll need a 10 millimeter socket, an extension, and like a 1/4 inch ratchet would be perfect. This is going to sit right in here, and you will have a bolt back there, one right up here, one right up here, and then also another one right back there. They're mirrored on the same way on each side. Once you do that, you can pull this out. You'll have, at least on this one, you have two plugs on the back that you will undo. These plugs are a little bit different, but you should be able to get the point pretty easy. You just push down on here and pull out, and again, push down on here and pull out. The only other one you'll have is your antenna wire, and that one should just pull directly out of the back of the radio. You can set that aside then, and pretty much at that point, you are ready to take your dash panel out. You will need a, let's see here, what size do we got here? A 12 millimeter socket, and an extension will help you as well. 1/4 inch is fine as well. Right up in here, you will see there'll be a bolt. It's actually right here. There'll be a bolt that's right there, and that's a 12 millimeter. That holds the airbag in. So before you do any of this at all, just disconnect your battery, and that way you don't have to worry about anything, electrical getting screwed up. So you can remove, once the battery is disconnected and sat for a few minutes, you can remove that 12 millimeter bolt right there. I went ahead and unplugged this that sits right over in here. It just sits right up on top of this little piece here. I did that so that I can slide my hand up in here. So you don't have to undo this plug, but you can. This is your airbag plug. The way this one works is you just pull back on, there's this little tong that's inside of here, and you pull back, you can see it slide, and that will pop off the connector for the airbag. And the airbag actually stays connected to the dash, so makes it kind of easy to remove. You don't have to remove the airbag or anything like that. I've got my dash laying over here so I can show you where the Phillips screws are that you will need to remove. So starting on the driver's side, this is where your little air vent would be. You've got a Phillips screw that will go right there. Moving over, you'll see on the speedometer, when you go to pull it, there will be one screw right there, and that is connected into the dash as well. So you'll want to remove that one. It's just a Phillips head screw. You'll have a Phillips screw here. This is, again, where the radio would be. So your Phillips screw is right there. You have another Phillips screw right here. And then over on this passenger side, you can literally just pull up on this corner, and you should feel it pop. And when I say pop, the clip, it's got clips that hold it all along this bottom side. So let me lay this up here. You'll pop this clip out first, and then you can kind of work your way across. And you will have one, possibly two other little wires to disconnect. This one here is for the automatic light sensor, I believe. So you just have to unplug that one. And when you take this dash out, the easiest thing to do is to be on the passenger side. Like I said, work up all the way across, make sure it's really good and loose. And then fish any of your wires that, you know, for the radio or anything, just fish them kind of back into the dash so you're not yanking on anything. And then you can just work the dash up and just kind of wiggle it out the passenger side. It's not heavy, but you definitely want to have a place to lay it down just because the airbag is attached to that. So once you're at that point, you have a really easy way to get to your blend door actuator. This is the piece right here. Once you take out these two screws, which are 7/32, you've got one here, and then you've got another one that is right down below, which, if I can point to it, it's right in there, and you'll see it. You can see this one from the bottom a little easier, but it's definitely easier to get everything from the top. Once you remove these two screws, you can unplug your blend door actuator. This piece will pop off. You can lay it right up here. This plug is a little bit different. All you need to do is take a little flathead and you'll pry up on the little tab to get it over this tong that's holding it in. Pop that off. Set your blend door where the actuator motor is set up to like line up with the door. And after that, put your screws back in and you should be pretty much good to go. So install is going to be identical to how we removed it. And also, if anybody is needing the part number, here is your Dorman part number. If you call AutoZone or your local auto store and give them that 604-132 part number, this at least is the one that my car needed. Probably going to fit, like I said, from 03 to 08 on the Matrix and also on the Vibe. So putting this thing back together, we'll put our dash panel back in, make sure all of our wires are routed properly. Make sure to replug your airbag back up with your battery unplugged. That is very, very crucial. Do not have your battery connected at all when messing with your airbag stuff. Plug that back up, get all of our wires rerouted, and set our dash panel back in, pop it back into the correct little channels for the clips and everything, and basically snap our pieces back together after we plug everything back up, and job's complete. Like I said, I would figure if you're inexperienced, probably figure 45 minutes out and probably 45 minutes back in. If you are experienced, you can probably have this job done in under an hour, out and back in and replacing the actuator. So don't get frustrated, just take your time. It's, you know, not a hard job, it's just a little time consuming. So anyway, if this video helped you, I would certainly appreciate if you hit the like button and consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you've got questions, just put it right down in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to get back to you as fast as I can. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and good luck on your project.